Content writing for businesses is one of the most important things for the look of the business in the eyes of the consumer. The written content available on the website, in the blog, or on any of the social media channels are going to be one of the first things that your prospective buyer or your consumer is ever going to see regarding your business. So what is written there needs to really achieve a specific purpose and has to follow a pretty strict set of guidelines. So the writing that you're going to make, what you want to put out there, needs to be really relevant. It needs to be short and succinct, and it needs to really get your point across because people's time and attention are very, very important. So taking that into consideration when you're creating content, making sure that you're writing only what needs to be said and every sentence is achieving the point and supporting your thesis is really important. I think one of the most important things for good, engaging writing is not to over-explain things to your audience. You still want to teach them something, you still want them to learn or get something out of what you're writing, but I think an assumption of stupidity on behalf of your audience is really irresponsible. I think what attracts me most to writing and to the written word is just, it's such an amazing communicative tool that you can tell stories with it, you can persuade people with it. I mean, there's an old saying that words have the power to heal or the power to destroy, and I think that that's very, very true, and being a part of that has always been something that's very fulfilling to me. My name is Kyle Downs, and I am a content writer. Today, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about persuasive writing and about content writing specifically for businesses. When you're writing persuasively, when you're writing for businesses, the goal is to create content that is engaging, that is relevant, and that is ultimately going to highlight or sell the product or the service. This can be anything from social media postings, this can be blog entries, these can be anything that is written on the website, including an About Me section, a bio, anything like that. That all kind of falls under the realm of content writing. What that does is that's going to give the community and your audience essentially kind of a first glance into what you do, what your services are, and so it's really important to pay attention to how you write that content and what you want to get out of every written piece. There's three main appeals when it comes to persuasive writing. The first appeal is going to be pathos. That is a Greek word. It loosely translates to emotion. This is going to be the emotional appeal to your audience. You're going to want to talk to them, kind of pull on their heartstrings a little bit. This is when you write to really appeal to the humanity within somebody, when you talk about things that everybody can relate to on a human level. Knowing your demographic is really important. You're going to want to know what triggers people. You're going to want to know what is important to the people that you're writing for. The second appeal is ethos, and that is a community appeal. And what that one does is it kind of plays to the basic human condition of wanting to be part of a whole. Everybody wants to belong somewhere, nobody wants to be the odd man out. So when you're writing with this appeal, you're writing to talk about how it's kind of the peer pressure of appeals, like everybody's doing it, so you don't want to be left out, or you don't want to miss this train, or you don't want to not be caught up with the coolest thing. This is the kind of slamming fast. A great example of this is writing for dealerships, car dealerships, when you're talking about, come now, come fast, there's never been a better time to buy, things like that. You're insinuating that everybody has done it, that everybody's going to do it, or that you're going to miss out if you don't do it now. The third appeal is logos, which translates to logic. It's also a Greek word. This is one of the most common appeals with persuasive writing because it's the logical appeal. This is what people are going to read. These are your statistics, the facts, the things that people can't necessarily argue with. Numbers are usually utilized with this. The savings, the change in the rate, the growth of your business. These are all logical appeals. These are all things that you can put into your writing that your audience can't argue with. And your audience can also see as an impressive statistic. They can relate numbers back to their own lives, sometimes better than they can relate words back to their own lives. When I go about getting ready to write something, when I'm given an assignment of anything to write for a specific client, I always try to look at the function of the piece more so than anything else. I usually try to come up with one sentence, one really powerful, integral. This takes you straight back to like English class when they're talking about a thesis statement, and that's exactly what it is. You're going to want to write one sentence that is all-encompassing, that is everything that this piece of writing needs to get across, really succinctly, really carefully, and really quickly. From that sentence, what I usually do is I expand, but I only expand using sentences that directly support that. This goes back to making sure that you're being very mindful of the time and attention of your readers. We live in a world right now that is so fast-paced, so fast-moving, and there's so much content on our phones that most people are only going to read the first 2 paragraphs of your blog anyway. So the best way to combat that is by only writing a blog that is 2 paragraphs long. And it's kind of like cooking in a recipe. You're going to want to pepper in emotion where you can. You're going to want to play on their emotional appeal and then drive it home with a logical appeal. And then maybe at the very end, you're going to tell them that everybody else is doing it and they're missing out. So that's going to bring in all 3 of them. And the research that you do and who you pay attention to who you're writing for is so important in that stage, because that shows you exactly which one of these appeals to use and exactly which ones are going to be effective. Now that you know how much goes into writing content for a business, from the research phase to the writing phase itself, you can make a more informed decision in how you want to market your company towards your viewers, towards your readers, and maybe consider hiring a professional. Thank you for watching MasterCraft.